This one isn't for the faint-hearted, but if you're not scared of flesh-eating creatures, then watch out because zombies are once again invading your territory. Prepare your best fighting moves because we hear that zombies love to get into people's brains. But the cannibalistic flesh-hungry creatures on this list are not just any zombie. They're the best kind of zombies that have been featured on screen. Welcome to Trending Ticket, and today we're about to enter the world of zombies where we give you the top 10 zombie movies with the best zombies. You might be familiar with Frankenstein, who's one of the earliest zombies in this genre, so you know that having the right zombie aesthetics is what makes a zombie movie successful. Watch out for our number 1 on this list, you'll be shocked. Number 10. Zombie 2. We start off with a bang at number 10 with an oldie but a goodie Italian zombie film by Lucio Fulci. Zombie 2 is based on the screenplay of the sequel to George A. Romero's 1978 film titled Dawn of the Dead, which was released in Italy with the title Zombie. Zombie 2 is set on a Caribbean island that has been cursed by a voodoo. The curse results in the island's dead residents coming back to life as zombies whose goal is to attack living human beings. The film was intended as a throwback to classic zombie tales and was filmed in Italy, with other locations including New York and Santo Domingo. The film is notable for having 2 iconic scenes, both of which were bolstered by amazing special effects. In one scene, a zombie fights a shark underwater, and what makes it more interesting is the fact that the shark's trainer had to play the zombie because the actor scheduled to shoot that day was not able to perform. In another infamous scene, one of the characters has to have her eye gouged out on a piece of wood in a very graphic manner. As this was the time when CGI was not mainstream, this scene had to be shot and edited from many angles and takes, and it was so vividly detailed, so slow and painful that it had to be edited out from the film when it was released, but you can see it on the DVD versions. The film was praised by critics for having nauseatingly detailed set props and the right amount of gore that set it up to be the predecessor of zombie gore films that dominated 1980s Italian horror. But zombie films have come a long way since the 1970s, so watch out for our number 1 pick, because zombies get even scarier. Number 9. The Return of the Living Dead. Number 9 on this list is a 1985 American comedy horror film that follows a warehouse owner and his 2 employees, his mortician friend, and some teenagers who have to deal with a horde of brain-hungry zombies that have been set loose on an unsuspecting town. The film is considered to be a modern punk comedy and became famous for popularizing the concept of zombies being brain-eating creatures instead of just consuming human flesh, unlike other previous zombie films. The Return of the Living Dead is also the first film to show zombies in motion and with the ability to converse, so that goes to show that zombies aren't really dumb. What's more is that the film portrays the first ever known technique of killing zombies using a headshot, and if you're a fan of death rock and punk rock bands, this film will surely deliver because it also wins some points for its soundtrack, which features numerous bands from LA. Because of its critical success, the film became a classic and fan favorite and spawned 4 sequels. Number 8. Dawn of the Dead. At number 8 on this list is Dawn of the Dead, which is a 2004 action horror film that is a remake of George A. Romero's 1978 film. The movie follows a group of human survivors stuck in a shopping mall in the town of Everett, Wisconsin, while just outside are hordes of zombies. What's cool about this film is that the cast from the original film also appear in several cameos. Viewers who were expecting a frame-by-frame remake are in for a surprise, because Zack Snyder tries a few of his tricks to make the movie even better. The zombies in the film are fast and might remind some people of professional athletes. Dawn of the Dead is unapologetically gory and makes full use of special effects to achieve pure visceral effect. And what better way to show that than with aggressive zombies who run like the Flash? Number 7. Dead Snow. At number 7 on this list is Dead Snow, which is a Norwegian comedy horror film that centers on a group of students who are under attack by zombie Nazis while they're in the mountains of Norway. The film draws inspiration from the Scandinavian folklore about the undead known as the Dragger, who are known for being possessive of their stolen treasures. The film is unique in that the zombies are Nazi soldiers, and that makes them all the more frightening. And because they are Nazis, there's no debate about humanity and whether zombies deserve sympathy from the viewers. The film also gets points for originality for featuring zombies who have a knack for stealing valuable items from villages, only to die violent deaths at the hands of their victims. The zombies definitely get what they deserve, and it all ends in a gory but satisfyingly violent film. But there's better zombies out there, more so than these Nazi undead, so keep watching for number 1 on this list. Number 6. Planet Terror. We're more than halfway through this list, and at number 6 we have an American horror comedy from 2007. Called Planet Terror, the film follows a group as they try to outlive a horde of zombie-like creatures while also fighting against a military unit. The zombie-like creatures who almost seem human have taken over the world, and the handful of survivors remaining must attempt to make their way to a helicopter that might be their only means of escape. The zombies in Planet Terror aren't the ones that you'll see in a regular zombie movie. They didn't rise up from the dead, and in fact, they were once human, but because of a potentially fatal disease known as DC2, the once humans were killed, but their organs remained functioning. So in essence, these zombies are the result of a bacteria that kills the identity of its host, but keeps the essentials living. Plus, there's an added hunger for living human flesh. Once infected, what was once a healthy-looking human develops pimple-like bumps all over the face and body, and also starts to walk really slowly. However, zombies resulting from the DC2 disease do develop extraordinary strength in their teeth, arms, and biceps, which makes them capable of picking up a man and ripping apart his body in just mere seconds. Talk about scary! You wouldn't want a zombie like that near you. The film is definitely a throwback to old-school grindhouse films of the likes of Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, except it has a bigger budget, so you'll see some characters like a go-go dancer with a machine gun plus a prosthetic leg. So if that doesn't want to make you watch the film right now, then maybe go watch it for the disgusting zombies. Number 5. Train to Busan. Number 5 on this list is 2016 South Korean action horror film Train to Busan. This widely successful film takes place mostly on a train which, as the title suggests, is on its way to Busan carrying passengers away from a zombie apocalypse that is breaking out all over the country and threatening the safety of the people on board. Unlike other zombies in other films, which are slow and pretty dumb, the zombies in Train to Busan are insanely fast. They're similar to the zombies in World War Z and display rabid behavior but are quite intelligent. Their one downfall, however, is their line of sight, which they seem to rely on too much. If there's no light, these zombies calm down. Train to Busan is definitely not for the claustrophobic, as most of the action takes place in tight quarters. Nevertheless, despite the small space, the set pieces and camera work all come together to bring the zombies to the forefront and display their quick reflexes. And don't forget the heartbreaking story of the father and his young daughter who are merely trying to survive this apocalypse together, and you find yourselves rooting for the characters despite all the odds stacked against them. Number 4. Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. Fourth on this list is the 6th and final installment in the Resident Evil film series, which takes inspiration from the classic horror video game series of the same name. The final chapter is the sequel to the 2012 Resident Evil film, and this time it follows Alice, played by Mila Jovovich, and her friends, who are betrayed by a clone of Albert Wesker. Alice and her allies have to fight against the organization called Umbrella, who are planning one last major strike against the survivors of the zombie apocalypse. The final chapter has many types of zombies, but some of the best ones include the Bloodshot and the Kipepeo. The Bloodshot was a mutant that was developed by the Umbrella Corporation to be a bioweapon, and only one of it was ever made. The Bloodshot lived in a chamber that contained lots of cadavers and torture devices, so it's a pretty tough opponent to beat. Meanwhile, the Kipepeo have wings and can be as big as a truck or even bigger. The Kipepeo have large heads with horns and curved mandibles. Their jaws are so strong that they are able to rip off the roof of Alice's Jeep while she's speeding away from the destruction. Fans of Resident Evil are going to get a kick out of this movie because it features all the action and, of course, the zombies from the much-loved series. Number 3. Zombieland: Double Tap. We are down to the top 3 on this list, and we go to a 2019 American zombie comedy titled Zombieland: Double Tap. The film is a sequel to the 2009 film Zombieland and is set 10 years after the events in the first film. It follows survivors who have gotten used to their dire circumstances and have become adept at identifying and getting rid of zombies of all kinds, of which there are 4 in the film. There's the Homer, which is dumber than the average zombie and named after Homer Simpson for the same exact reasons that you would expect. Another type of zombie is the Hawking. This zombie is the opposite of Homer and has advanced intelligence. As such, it is named after physicist Stephen Hawking. The third type of zombie is called the Ninja, because of its speed and element of surprise when executing its attacks. However, the Ninja is on par with the Homer for being uninteresting. The fourth and last zombie is the T-800, which is like a Terminator because it is hard to kill and seem indestructible, creating conflict among the survivors. Zombieland Double Tap was praised by critics for capturing the spirit of the first movie and adding some interesting twists, with some saying that the zombies have definitely evolved and contributed to the film's success. Number 2. World War Z. Second on this list is the 2013 American apocalyptic action horror film titled World War Z, which is headlined by Brad Pitt. Pitt plays a former UN investigator named Jerry Lane who has to go around the world and attempt to stop a zombie pandemic. Lane must find the source of the pandemic so that a vaccine could be developed, otherwise his family could be in danger. The zombies in World War Z are based on the behavior of animals, which explains why animal species and their habits are shown in the beginning. They are able to form a wall by stacking on top of each other like ants, and also lunge at humans similar to how tigers and lions act. When a human becomes infected, it only takes 12 seconds for the virus to take over. The eyes become blurry while black veins pop up all over the face, hair falls off in clumps, and the flesh starts to decay. These zombies are extremely violent and dangerous, as their only goal is to eat, kill, and infect anything that moves. It's also not the best idea to face a horde of these by yourself, even with a gun, as they can easily overwhelm with their big numbers, and the only surefire way to kill them is through a shot in the head. Number 1. 28 Days Later. Taking the first spot on this list is 28 Days Later. This 2002 British post-apocalyptic horror film shows how society breaks down after an accident exposes millions of humans to a highly contagious virus. 4 survivors must try to get to safety while also coping with all the destruction and evading those who have been infected by the virus. The zombies in this film are afflicted with the rage virus, which causes them to act mindlessly and lash out with uncontrollable rage. They're pretty unstoppable as the virus gives them an adrenaline-heightened mobility and have a high pain tolerance. Chopping off their body parts doesn't seem to do the job, and neither does burning them alive. So these zombies are pretty indestructible, but their one downfall is brightness. Just a speck of light, like something from a candle, is enough to send these cannibals cowering in fear. 28 Days Later revolutionized the zombie aesthetic and introduced to the mainstream scene the idea that zombies can move really fast. And while technically these are humans who are just infected with a rage virus, the film manages to put in touches of humanity while still keeping tense, thrilling moments of horror that are capable of leaving viewers in shock. Did you like the movies on this list? Which zombie movie is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this movie, give it a thumbs up and watch our other recommendations on the top 10 scariest movie endings. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also ring the bell so that you'll be notified when videos like that come out.